Today's lesson is using subtraction to divide. So the strategy that we'll be using is subtraction in order to get an answer for a division question. The best way to go about subtracting numbers is to always use a number line, because number lines show us how to skip count and it'll make it easier for us. So let me just do some addition using a skip count, to skip count using a number line. For example, start at 10 and add by 6. So I got my number line, so I'm going to start at 10, I'm going to add by 6. So 10 plus 6 equals 16, 16 plus 6 equals 22, 22 plus 6 equals 28, 28 plus 6 equals 34, 34 plus 6 equals 40. So what we're doing is we're skip counting and we're adding by 6 every time we skip count. Again, our numbers can keep on going up, 46 and so on and so forth. But I'm going to stop right here. Now, if I wanted to subtract, so if I say 40, we're going to start at 40, and we're going to subtract by 6, so you'll just go the other way around. 40 minus 6 equals 34. 34 minus 6 equals 28. Minus 6, 22 minus 6, 16 minus 6, 10. Okay, so that's using a number line to add or subtract numbers. Now I'll be giving you examples by using a number line to subtract bigger numbers in order to get an answer for a division question. First example I'm going to be giving you is 142 divided by 6 equals what? So I'm going to say use a number line by subtracting to find 142 divided by 6. So use a number line to subtract to find the answer of 142 divided by 6. So I'm going to start at 142. Again, when you're dividing, the number must get smaller. So we're going to be subtracting. 142 minus 6 equals 136. Minus 6 equals 130. Minus 6 equals 124. Minus 6 equals 118. Minus 6 equals 112. Minus 6 equals 106. Minus 6 equals 100, minus 6 equals 94, minus 6 equals 88, minus 6 equals 82. And you keep on going until you cannot subtract by 6 anymore. Again, this is going, as you see, it's going to take forever. And I'm not going to make you waste your time by subtracting by 6 until you get to the answer. So I'm going to teach you a strategy on how to subtract using a number line to get the answer. So the more we subtract, so the bigger the number we're subtracting, the closer we're going to get to the end quicker. Okay, so instead of using 6 or subtracting by 6, we could subtract by 60. Okay, because 6 times 10 equals 60. So every 10 numbers that we subtracted from 6, that means we subtracted 60. So every 10 numbers. So let's see how many numbers we subtracted here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, so we stop right here because we started at this number and we subtracted by 6. So we subtracted once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We subtracted 10 times. So instead of subtracting by 6 to get to 82, we could just simply say 142. Again, let's get our number line. 142 minus 60 equals 82. Okay, so how many numbers between 82 and 42? We got 10 numbers. Okay, so again, this is the strategy that we should be using. So instead of subtracting by 6, we subtract by 60. But we need to keep in mind that there's 10 numbers between 82 and 142 if we subtracted by 6. Okay, so let's subtract 82 minus 60. So again, so right here we went minus 60 to get this answer. From here, minus 60, and we're going to come with 22. So 82 minus 60 equals 22. So how many numbers are there between 82 and 22 if we kept on subtracting by 6? There are 10 numbers. So how many numbers are there so far between 142 and 122 if we kept on subtracting by 6? There are 20. Okay. Now 22 minus 60, can I do that? No, I cannot. 22 is a smaller number than 6. So now instead of keep on subtracting by 60, I could just now go back and subtract by 6 to get to the end. Okay, so 22 minus 6 equals 16. So now we're subtracting minus 6. So this is one number between 22 and 16. 16 minus 6 equals 10. 10 minus 6 equals 4. And that's it, because 4 minus 6, we're going to be in the negative, so we're done. Okay, so the remainder over here, so between 0 and this number, there's 4. So the remaining, so I'm going to write R4. R stands for remainder. There's a remainder of 4 because I cannot subtract from 6 anymore. So 142 minus 60 is 82, minus 60 is 22. I cannot subtract by 60 anymore, so I just keep on subtracting by 6, which is the original number that we had. Okay, so now we add them up, 10, 20, and then we're going to start doing by 1 because 22 minus 6, that's 1. 16 minus 10, that's 1. 10 minus 4, that's 1. Okay, so we got 23. So 142 divided by 6 is 23, and there was a remainder of 4 at the end because we couldn't subtract by 6 anymore. Again, if it might be a little bit confusing at the beginning, subtracting using a number line to get within the answer. It is a strategy though that we must learn. So I will give you more examples so that you could get used to it. Okay, another question I will be giving here is 22 divided, 252. 252 divided by 8 is equal to what? Again, if I use the number line, I start at 252 and I kept on subtracting by 8, it will take forever. So instead, we look at the 8, we multiply it by 10, we know it's 80, and it'll be easier to do that way. 252 minus 80 equals 172. 172 minus 80 is equal to 92. 92 minus 80 is equal to 12. 12 minus 80, I cannot do that anymore, so I will stop right there. So how many numbers are there between 252 and 172 if I were to subtract by 8? There are 10 numbers. How many numbers are there between 172 and 192 if I were to subtract by 8? There are 10. All right, so the video cut off where I was recording, or I thought I was recording, but it stopped. So I will continue from where I stopped, which was around over here. I was saying 100. If I were to subtract with 172 minus 8 to get to 92, there would have been 10 numbers in between. If I were to subtract between 92 and 12 with 8 each time, I would have 10 numbers in between, and now we'll get to 12. I cannot subtract 80 from 12, so I'll just go back to the original number, which is 8, and I will subtract it that way. 12 minus 8 equals 4. Okay, so now how many numbers are there between 252 and 4 if I were to subtract by 8? There are 10, 20, 30, and 1. There are 31 numbers. And from 4 to 0, there are 4 numbers, so the remainder is 4. So 252 divided by 8 equals 31, which is 10, 20, 30, and 1. Remainder 4.